Pump it up and get it live. Going live in the world of YouTubes. Yes, we are here again, folks, on a brand new day and a brand new time. No, that's the same time, new day. All right. Whatever.
Yeah, I had to move it to a different day for my sake. I was being...
Day's not as important to me as it was when I first made it Thursdays. It's been Thursdays for 5 years.
You had a lot going on when you first...
I did.
You had like 10 things scheduled out every day.
I did. I had a lot scheduled out in my life. I don't have as much scheduled in my life anymore. COVID took care of everything that was scheduled in my life.
Yep. I think it's done that for everyone.
Slowly,
the only thing I have scheduled out now is making...
Yeah, well, I'm slowly reintroducing things back into my life.
Yeah?
Realizing that, I can reintroduce things, but I think I'll be a little more cautious this time. I won't schedule myself to...
That's a good idea.
Staying with, I like the free times I have where I can sit down and watch a show or read a book or listen to
Do the stuff and things.
Instead of, oh God, I got this meeting. Prepare for this camp. I've got to prepare for this event. Along with get my regular work done. I don't have any extracurricular activity. Look at adding one extra.
Yeah, hunting.
Oh, hunting's always is always in my schedule. It's only in the fall. It starts in 2.
That's exciting. You get your bear ticket for just in case. Cool.
2 deer tickets and 1 bear ticket. A little luck, putting meat on the table.
Did you know that bears actually represent in the medicine wheel?
Really? Cool.
Yep. Bears represent family. Most likely, the reason why humans decide bears represent family is mama bear.
Quite possibly.
Oh my God, cat! Be right back.
Yeah, well, go dump the cat out of the room before it pushes everything off the shelf.
Oh no, he just knocked it into... Right back.
Yeah. We didn't hear it. It must not have been that loud. We ride up into the minutes and get the day going here. Hopefully the sound check this morning said that the sounds on YouTube were sounding pretty good, so we shall let them be working. Hopping in. Silence.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay. Dump the cat.
Well, yeah, I dumped the cat out of the room, and it turns out it wasn't an entire shelf he knocked. It was just a glass case.
Hopefully they didn't break it.
Oh no, there's a nice soft pile of blankets folded in front of it, because, chaos still rules in the new place.
Chaos slowly gets
organization. I thought I'd be a little more organized by now, but not much.
It is what it is.
Indeed. If nothing else, it will build character.
It's time for some music to carry us up to show.
Don't claim to know your story, don't even my own. In the search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Preacher man discovered, passed down from saint to sage, like a kind-hearted lover who's been lost on this stage. Went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Not saying they're right or wrong. I ain't no Texan dancer, Lord knows where I belong. Went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Junkie and the chigger just seen who done the crime. Captain pulled the trigger, guess who's doing time? They went missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, is he yours or is he mine? Don't claim to know your story, don't even have my own. In our search for glory, gone with them sacred rules of old. We're missing down Highway 49. Devil's at the crossroads, sitting doing time. Devil's at a crossroads, joker's doing fine. Just sitting doing time.
There we be, and it is time.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress plugins A to Z, not Z.
Climbing Cardboard, FloraPress, your garden on WordPress, Classrooms Library, Zero Spam, and Word. Oh, geez, man. We're going to wrap that one up, and we're going to wind that one back and do it again. We'll just trim this out and post. Brain went sideways. Am I here all by myself?
No, you're not here all by yourself.
Oh.
I was waiting for you to. You said you were going to try it again. I was waiting for you to try it again.
Oh, I was expecting some snide comment from the Peanut Gallery on that one, too. All right.
I giggled quietly. I was trying to be polite. It's Monday.
It is Monday. All right, let's do this again. One more time.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for WordPress plugins A to Z, not Z.
It's episode 575, and we have plugins for Climbing Cardboard, Virtual Garden, Library Room, Zero Spam, Ada Counter, SoundClouding, and ClassicPress options, all coming up on WordPress plugins from A to Z. WordPress. It's the most popular content management and website solution on the internet. And with over 80,000 plugins to choose from, how do you separate the junk from the gems? Join us for a weekly, unrehearsed conversation about the latest and greatest in WordPress plugins. This is WordPress Plugins from A to Z. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be hiding out there on the globe today. Coming to you direct from the brewery overlooking beautiful southern Vancouver Island. I'm John Overall, and with me is the ever-lovely
Amber overall.
And it is episode 575 on our new day, same time. Coming to you on a Monday morning because, well, life changes and we change with it. And we've got a whole lot of great stuff for you today. But, of course, I should just...
Thank you for sharing, John. Now get down from that soapbox.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever get one.
No, I don't think you will.
So it is episode 575. Monday for me too, apparently. Oh, good. Where was I?
I have no idea. You were lost.
There we go. I found my spot. So it's episode number 35 for 2020, and we're working through out. Hence the brain farts and fridges, and bear with us while we work our way through this new layout. Additionally, also a different for us. Monday, everyone's a little foggy brained on Monday, so be kind to us, but we would really love to have some feedback on what you think about this new layout, especially once we've worked out more of the kinks. Quick message from your A to Z plugin worker bee: a value for value show, meaning any value you find, offer that same value back. Telling someone about us, offering about $5 or more, we'll never turn that down, just for a sugar boost, or spending some time helping out. Don't skip the end of the show, dear producer. This is where I throw oddball questions at my dad and he stump him. Haven't managed to yet, but one day, maybe, especially if maybe our listeners help us out a bit, that'd be fun. Special note to our newer listeners, there is no such thing as a stupid question. There is always someone out there with the questions, and stepping up to ask them will help both you and them. There's no judgment on this show. Sure to ask away. Now let's start the show with this week's artist. Oh, you forgot to share your screen with me.
Okay.
Now I think it's Greg's graphics again.
Yeah.
Of course,
his is the only. I think his is the only art we have right now.
Pardon?
I think his is the only art we have right now.
Right now, yeah. I would love for I'd love to see artists. If by looking at this anybody's feeling inspired, please send in the art. It doesn't have to be graphic-y art either. Hand drawn. Copy it into the computer. Logo in there somewhere. Find our logo and everything that is like the little happy face thing, and then the John Overall logo. You can find those on our site. Download them on there. Oh, usual sound check. Hi, Hemdian. John is quieter than, apart from occasional sucking noises, Amber is quieter than John. Oh.
That's funny. When we checked the sound, it sounded all perfect and even to me.
It came up well when we checked it. Sucks. Oh, that sucks a lot. Thanks for letting us know, Hemdian. I don't know if there's anything you can do about it right now, Dad.
I can look into it.
Okay. Well, I do really like this. Like just a painting. It looks like it was done with oils, and then our logo. Looks cool. So thank you very much, Greg, for sending us in so much art and keeping up with us. And if anybody is inspired, you can send in your artwork to wppluginsa2z.com. Or you can check out all the artwork at wppluginsa2z.com/artwork. On to the news.
Yeah.
Please, can everybody be quiet? Please be quiet. Shut up! Thank you. And now the WordPress news with John Overall.
What, Amber? I've got to go in and fix that.
So the first one we have here is the WordPress vulnerability report for September 28th, 2022. So this week's vulnerabilities list is a bit longer. I just decided to write them all down. First one is Kraken.io image optimizer. Backup Scheduler, Favlicon Switcher, Forum, FreeDaddy Real-Time Web Stats, WP Custom Cursors, Search Logger, and 3D Tag Cloud. So be sure to check out your and your client's sites. Keep an eye on the weekly list as well. These are, just so everyone knows, these are no fix known plugins at the moment, but even though it says no fix known on here for this week, next week it could list these off as having been fixed. So keep an eye on them. Next up, we have 2022 is the first default block theme to get tagged as accessibility ready. So for those who are working towards having an entirely accessible site, this is really good news. WordPress has been working with multiple contributor teams and should hopefully be ready to go in November when WordPress 6.1 hits the stage. Though don't update immediately, be sure to allow time for the creators to work out the inevitable kinks first. Next up, we have WordPress punts locally hosted fonts for legacy default themes to 6.2 release. In other words, so far as I understand, WordPress team is removing the locally hosted fonts in lieu of legacy default themes so that there is not another issue cropping up like what happened earlier this year when a German court fined a website owner for violating the GDPR by using Google hosted web fonts. We did cover that here. So be aware of this, and you might want to figure out a way to keep your fancy fonts sooner rather than later is probably the best idea. There are lots of plugins you can do that.
Lots of ways you can host your own fonts on your website besides waiting for WordPress to get in the court.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've actually covered a few ourselves.
I've used several methods over the years for locally hosting fonts.
Mm-hmm.
You're better off to do that anyway. It helps speed up your site.
Yep. And these days, keep you out of hot water.
And Sue happy.
Yeah. Next, we have new prototype runs WordPress in the browser with no PHP server, meaning that there is now a demo of what running WordPress with no PHP is like, I think. That was the meaning I got behind this. It was set up by Automatic sponsored core contributor Adam Zielinski using WebAssembly or WASM, a format for stack-based virtual machine that enables it to work. It's not stable yet, but the concept is interesting. If you go to the article, you will be able to find the link and check it out yourself. You can find the link to this article in our show notes.
Of interest. I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah, they don't really explain why they do it. All they do is explain that they have done it.
Somebody just went, I wonder if I can do this. They did it.
Must be.
What happens? But makes some sense, but I'm wondering how it will work in the end. It's an interesting concept. Maybe one day when I'm bored, look into.
Yeah. The next thing we have is ClassicPress acquires MetaSlider plugin and MetaSlider Lightbox. So these guys, ClassicPress, they've bought these two sliders from Extendify, and a lot of this article is talking about how sliders have gone out of style. And when they talk about how it's interesting that they've purchased this, they actually went and they asked ClassicPress, and ClassicPress talks about making sliders more modern because old-fashioned sliders aren't good enough. So I think that if you use MetaSlider plugin and MetaSlider Lightbox, you might want to keep an eye on the changes that are likely going to show up, because if they're talking about making something modern after they buy it, there's going to be some serious changes coming up, and it may not work with the way that you have things set up for your site.
Very good possibility on that.
Next, we have WooSesh publishes schedule ahead of time, or ahead of virtual event set for October 11th to 13th, 2022. So for those who are interested, be sure to check out the schedule. Each day the event will be running from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find the link for the posted schedule here in the show notes. And the last thing we have here, an easy guide to ruining your MacBook's battery. All the information you need to grind it, metaphorically, into the dust.
Toss it in water. Fix it.
Well, it's actually, honestly, it's a how not to destroy your MacBook.
Oh.
But honestly, like, you can take this information and put it to any laptop. Things like keep all of your apps running all of the time. Okay? Or never, ever update your software. You know, it goes through and explains all the ways. Yes, it puts it in such a way that, yes, this is how you destroy it. Well, it's really a how not to. And if nothing else, print it out and give it to your teenager, since teenagers are starting to actually need laptops in high school these days. Print it out, pass it to your teenager, and watch their face as they read it. Free entertainment.
Personally, I can get behind the one never update your software, especially on Apple products.
Well, unplug and discharge and plug in and unplug and, you know, plug in, unplug over and over. Yeah, that's totally healthy for it. Oh, this is actually a good one. Using your MacBook as a device charger. Well, if you use your laptop as a device charger, I know from experience you will burn out the USB port and you will heat up the battery. I made that mistake. And then we have ClassicPress news. ClassicPress has projects they're looking to have some support with. They have a page of these projects and they're listed out and who the contact for the project is. You can check out the link we have in our show notes if you're interested in helping them to move forward. And they also have some petitions posted. I know that's the same thing we said last show, but it's all we have for ClassicPress right now, news-wise. If anybody out there follows ClassicPress news, please reach out to us with some news that you think it's important for the community to hear about. Yeah. And then we have...
Go ahead.
And then we have our extras. So our extras are a bunch of like talking about the phishing scams, hacking, fired admin cripples former employees or employers network using old credentials. Like there's some interesting stuff in here and there's some important things in here, but you'll find it in the extras.
Yeah. If you're a dude named Ben from your network, you better change his credentials really fast.
Yes.
Especially if you piss him off on his way out the door, because he'll just say, let it burn.
Let's have a peek at our contest for the week. Firstly, we want to... Oh, whoops, I didn't give you a chance to do the jingle.
No, you did not.
It's a contest. WordPress plugins from A to Z. Whoa! So free!
So firstly, we want to thank Simple Giveaways for being totally awesome and providing us with their premium version for our contests. Secondly, we want to thank Steve Goodtime and Brent Matthews for creating our amazing jingle we still use. We don't have a contest going on right now. When Charlie had to leave us behind for bigger and better things, he left some pretty big shoes to fill, and we just haven't had the time to do so this last year. Thank you, Charlie, for hanging around for so long and keeping our show's contest on the up and up, and making this the best show it could be. If anyone out there thinks I might be able to fill the shoes Charlie left behind, please give us a shout and give it a go. You can always reach us through wpplugins.com/contact, or you can reach out to me at amber@wppro.ca. Remember, this is your show. We're just the worker bees here. Don't be afraid to jump up and down and demand a turn at the wheel to help guide the show to where you want it to go. That goes for all the developers out there too. This is your show. By supporting us with your plugin donations, you are helping to guide the show to where you want to see it go. A giant thank you is owed to the developers who have been supporting us this whole time. We honestly could not have even gotten this show started without you. If any developers out there listening right now are interested in adding to the show by donating a premium license for our contest, you can do so by going to wppluginsa2z.com/plugin contest. Now, ready for the good stuff? the meat and potatoes of plugin depravity.
Cool. All right, what do we got for plugins? The first ones I have out here today is Climbing Cardboard. Cardboard. No, cardboard. Their link says cartboard. Interesting. Not funny. I was reading the link instead of the title. All right, so what this one is, this is a plugin for rock climbers, and I've done some rock climbing. It was lots of fun. I haven't done it in quite some time. I need to go do some again. And for the hardcore rock climbers that like to track stuff and like to track their routes and like to log their stuff and then share it with all their buddies on their websites, well, this is a plugin just for you. With a little shortcode in here, you can start tossing up all of your routes, your route numbers, dates you've climbed, and all of that sort of miscellaneous stuff just to showcase everything you've done. Just a little fun little plugin I saw that climbers out there might want to use to share their stuff on their website. Go check this out. It's Climbing Cartboard, and I give it a 4-dragon rating.
And the first one I have for today is Zero Spam for WordPress. Now, I've been looking for help against the smart form spammers out there, and when I read the title, I was a little suspicious because I don't see how anybody can really create zero spam. But I decided to check it out. You'll find the setup area for this under settings, then click Zero Spam. This plugin is easy to understand for the settings and has a lot of options for integration, including both Gravity forms and WP forms. It seems to work well, and it does appear to play well with others and is totally free. It's actually pretty in-depth for being a free plugin. Long-term speaking, it does appear to help cut down on the smart form spammers out there, though it does not fully and completely remove them. Admittedly, you won't ever truly rid yourself of these guys, though this really does help cut them down. It seems to focus on those who make more than the usual amount of entries, blocking IPs, emails, and keywords. Not always useful when you can only go by those 3 things, but it really does help. I think they might have gone with, a different name, because Zero Spam, you can never really get rid of them all.
Yeah, you can try.
But, yeah, you can definitely try. I'm trying to make it as little as possible for one of our clients, but it's really hard to get rid of all the spammers.
No, some of them are actual humans that type that stuff in manually.
That would be the smart form spammers. Well, I rate this at 4 dragons.
Check that one out, folks. May help you out. All right, and another one I have out here for you. For those of you who like your gardens, have FloraPress. This is a way you can track your garden in multiple ways. You can create plant profiles, plot profiles, planting profiles, track what you've planted where. You can go build out your garden in here, list everything, when you planted it, what you harvested, all this stuff for those that want to keep track of it on their website versus in a notebook. Like some of us still use old-fashioned pen and paper for this, but I thought it was a cool idea, and it's a way to find out what's happening in the garden and a way to look at your data over time. The nice thing about it is, versus pen and paper, is when you want to look at the overall data in the end, you can just click some buttons and it tells you what's happened where, when, and what, versus having to flip through your manually edited stuff. At any rate, it seemed like a really, really good, fun thing for those that have their gardens and want to start and track all this stuff out, and a really impressive thing for the freebie version of it. They do have a pro version of it, I believe. And they got a free version, a pro version, and in the free version, it's limited by how many profiles and such you can make. You'd have to get the premium version to expand it out, but you might want to try the free version to see if it's something you even want to work with. Go check it out. It's called FloraPress, Your Garden on WordPress, and I gave it a 4-dragon rating.
I didn't hear the last bit for some reason. I assume you finished?
Yeah, well, I gave it a 4-dragon rating. You didn't hear that?
No, for some reason the whole sound cut out.
Oh, it doesn't like you anymore.
No, it hates me. Next one I have is Ada Views Counter. This is a plugin designed to count how many times your post or page has been viewed. You will find the plugin on the right-hand side menu as ADA Views Counter. I really like this. It works well and looks good. So in order to use it, you must first modify your theme, adding a call to the shortcode provided. Unfortunately, unless you know how to do that already, this might be a little difficult for just anyone to use. I personally think it might have been a better idea to make it something where you only need to add a shortcode to whichever page or post you want to have the visits counted. However, it is totally free and it does work well. I rate it at 4 dragons.
Very cool.
It's time to donate to WP Plugins A to Z.
We interrupt this Meat and Potatoes, a Plugin Depravity edition, to bring you our donation segment and to thank our producers. And as we mentioned before, this is your show. We're just the worker bees here. Don't forget to restock the show's larders with some time, treasure, or talent donations. Need more information on how to do that? Check out our site, wppluginsatoz.com. Right up in the menu, you will see each one under donations. A special thanks goes to freelance producers popping in and out. They're always showing up at unexpected times. These producers are surely part of the reason our name is getting out there. Thank you. Backroom producers hanging out in the lounge. Always about the place, consuming all the coffee and donuts. These producers earn it by helping out with our contests, artwork, site organization, notes, questions, suggestions, licenses, and by hiring us. Your time and talent donations are equal to your treasure donations of under $50, and we would not be here without you, so thank you. And War Room producers. This is a newer one that we've recently added. With their donations of $50 or more, these producers receive a few extra perks. An official A to Z handle of their choice, a spotlight in that week's show for a short speech, an official executive producership credit, and they get to see the magic as it happens up in the war room before we send the show out into the netherworld of the internet. Thank you for sticking by us and helping to keep the backroom producers stocked in coffee and donuts. If you want to find out more on the details, if you want to find out more details on these extra perks, you can check out our show notes. All of the explanation is in there for you. Thank you. Now back to the meat and potatoes of Plugin Depravity Edition.
Final plugin I've got for you today is Classroom Library. This is for the teachers out there that have a wide selection of books in their classroom that they want to offer up to their students. And they can create themselves a catalog of books and a check-in and check-out system for those books. It allows them to go into the title, the SSN barcode, etc., picture of it, and students can then check it in and out of the classroom, and gives you a way to track your books and show what you have available for your students to check out in your classroom. I thought it was a pretty useful item for the teachers out there that are tech savvy and have their own website that they want to run this. So something for everyone to go check out. It is the Classroom Library, and I gave it a 4 dragon rating.
That looks really cool, actually. Could be useful for homeschoolers too.
Yeah, very useful for homeschoolers. That's a really good one. You know, get the kids used to checking out books from home library. Make them return them. Send them emails like the school sends me. Your kid has this book library. Ask the kid. Oh, I turned that in. You know, really? Oh, wait! I found it at the bottom of my backpack.
Bottom of the backpack, or on the shelf in the hallway, or once I found one of the library books in the same areas where the shoes went. That was interesting.
That's a good place for it. Shoes can read it. Well-educated shoes.
The last one I've got for today is Embed SoundCloud Block. This is a new Gutenberg plugin that is totally free and really useful, especially for those crazy podcasters out there. Once you activate it, you will see the block option pop up for your blocks while you are building. The setup is fairly easy, and the versatility of the look for this is really awesome. You can set up with pictures or not, set up so that you're only playing your own playlist, kind of like your own radio station, or you can set up so that people can choose what to play, choose to download. It's a really nifty plugin. If you're looking to get your own demos out there or have a playlist of the shows that you've done and you use Gutenberg, this could be a very useful plugin for you. The only drawback I see is that it only works with Gutenberg, not anything else. I rate it at 4 dragons.
Go check it out. I think I still have a SoundCloud account. I don't use it anymore though.
Next we have ClassicPress. We have sadly neglected ClassicPress, and we are working to remedy this. To any ClassicPress listeners out there right now, I challenge you to write a review of your favorite or least favorite ClassicPress plugin and send it in to us. You can do so by hitting us up at wpplugins.com/submit plugin review. And we do have a ClassicPress resource station. And honestly, this information is like fruitcake. It doesn't wither away and will still be good years down the road, so it's great for learning. If you're interested in learning about ClassicPress and how to use it, go and check out this section in our show notes, and it'll get you started if nothing else. Questions, notes, and feedback from our producers out there. Nothing today. I think our homing pigeon is still lost, hasn't quite made a home yet. But hopefully next week, the homing pigeon will make it all the way back to us. How to be part of your own production. You can get yourself interviewed. This will help get your name out there. Or you can send in a plugin review or suggestion, or send in a suggestion for a plugin review. You don't have to do the review yourself. You can just send in a note saying, hey, this is a cool plugin. Can you do a review on it? Or you can send in questions or comments. Questions and comments are always welcome. As I said right at the beginning of the show, there is no such thing as a stupid question. Now, admittedly, we probably can't answer any questions about like black holes or matter stuff because that's not what we specialize in. But if you have questions about WordPress, send them in to us. No such thing as a stupid question. Cyber cricket sound and old-timey phone ring?
That was me. You didn't hear that?
Ah, no, I didn't.
Oh. I have one phone that for some reason sends out a cricket sound every once in a while for no apparent reason, and somebody tried to call me. And I have an old ringer on my cell phone so that I actually know it's my phone ringing. Because
yeah,
all those
I actually have that too.
all those fancy songs and everything else everyone uses, I just ignore.
Mm-hmm.
I was trained to answer rings.
I actually chose the old-timey phone ring for myself because same reason, I guess. I don't tune it out. It's the only sound I don't tune out.
Yep.
So we don't have any meetups planned at the moment. We had a meetup on September 10th, and it was pretty awesome. I would like to do another meetup, but right now, nothing planned. Keep an ear out, and we'll let you know. And remember, you can check out our show notes on our site at wppluginsa2z.com. There is a lot of extra information to grab up that we don't even speak out loud on the show. So make sure that you go and check stuff out in the show notes. There's so much more information than what we say on here. And then today's plugins we covered were... Let you go first.
I covered up Climbing Cardboard. I gave a 4 to. FloraPress, Your Garden on WordPress, which I gave a 4 to, and Classroom Library, which I gave a 4 to.
And I covered Zero Spam for WordPress, which I rated at 4, Ada Views Counter, which I rated at 4, and Embed SoundCloud Block, which I rated at 4. And we have some ways to support the show. You can support the show by subscribing to our newsletter, donating, or reviewing us on Stitcher Radio, Google Play, or the iTunes Store. Not Shore. You can also join us on our Facebook. Make sure you hit the like button on our YouTube channel. And if you want to get a hold of us, you can actually send a physical letter to a physical address if you're interested, if you still do snail mail. We have our address right in there for you, or you can email us. Both mine and John's email are in the show notes for you to check out. Now, it's question time.
It's question and answer time.
Hammer.
Anyone out there has any questions they'd like to have asked on the show, send them in to me at amber@wpbro.ca, and we'll see if we can stump my dad with them. First question is, what will this site we heard about earlier be like running without PHP? Would you run a site without PHP? Why or why not?
Well, a minor discussion about it. We were talking about it there. It's like, I have no idea what it's going to be like. It's like, okay, PHP does so much more than just deliver up WordPress to the site. It runs programs in the background for, you got a plugin that does calculations, it dates.
Hang on a second. Before you go into that, that's actually my next question is, what exactly is PHP and how does it work?
Oh, well, PHP is the background program, server-side program that decodes everything and decodes the code that WordPress is written into so it can deliver out plain HTML, which is what browsers understand. Browsers don't understand all that code. I mean, granted, browsers have built in for JavaScript for doing local server-side scripting, but the server-side scripting is PHP. Without PHP, I don't know how it's going to work. Maybe for the basics of delivering the web pages, but what happens to some of the other programs such as WordPress, or not WordPress, WooCommerce in the background, you know, doing calculations, displaying pricing, you know, adding stuff up in the background, picking dates, all of that sort of stuff. How does that work? I have no idea. There's so much going on in PHP that is behind the scenes that nobody knows. Most people don't even understand. Most people can't basically understand anything beyond pushing buttons on their phone, and they don't understand the magic that goes on under the hood. So what's going to happen with it? I don't know. It's like I said, it's an interesting concept, but I just don't see how it's going to work in the end. You know, somebody out there who's smarter than me has figured this out, and they're going to be having a grand old time making it work. It'll be interesting if they can eliminate PHP, because if they can, it can make it load even faster. Websites will become even more blazingly fast than they are. Granted, everyone's spoiled now when they freak out over a 5 or 10 second loading time for a page. They need to go back to the late 1990s, early 2000s, when you click a button and it was 45 seconds later before the web page loaded. You know, and that was delivering just plain HTML back in those days.
Yep.
You know, so it's like, I don't understand. People don't have the patience for it anymore. But PHP is the server-side scripting, which does all the magic that you see when you go to a website.
So would it be accurate to say that PHP is kind of like the translator between the site and the internet?
The site in your browser.
The site in the browser, okay. And so without the PHP, you're in a foreign country with no translator.
Yeah, you get nothing actually without PHP, because you've seen code. You know what the code looks like in there. You've gone and looked at WordPress coding.
Yep.
Okay. It can't even deliver that stuff out without PHP. Without PHP, it can't deliver anything, because that code specifically tells it what to do and turn it into HTML.
Hendian has a good point.
Yep.
But all the plugins are also written in PHP. No PHP means no plugins?
That's what the point I was getting at with, you know, what happens with WooCommerce.
Mm-hmm.
What happens with you got a calendar on your website? That's another plugin. Got a clock? That's another plugin. It's like, yeah, what happens with all those? It's like, the concept is great. I really like the concept. I just can't wrap my head around how it would work. You know, I suppose if I spend enough time digging into it, I might begin to understand what they're doing and how they're doing it. And maybe they found some answers that just aren't obvious yet. It'll be an interesting time.
So definitely something that we're going to want to keep our eye on. This PHP free site. See how it goes, if it works, and see if they actually explain their goal in a way that's understood.
That's the big thing. All right. It is time for us to close out the show for those listening on the download. And anyone else, stick around after the closing credits, and we have more for you on the YouTube. So those on the download, go check out the YouTube channel so you can hear all the good stuff at the end. Let our girl take us on out.
Reminders for the show. All show notes can be found at wppluginsaToZ.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the newsletter for more useful information delivered directly to your inbox. WP Plugins A to Z is a show that offers honest and unbiased reviews of plugins created by developers because you support the show. Help keep the show honest and unbiased by going to wppluginsaToZ.com/donate and set the donation level that fits your budget. Help us make the show better for you by subscribing and reviewing the show at Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and in the iTunes Store. You can also leave us a review on our Facebook page using wppluginsaToZ.com/Facebook. You can also watch the show live on YouTube, check out the screencasts and training videos, and remember to subscribe and hit the bell to get notifications of all new videos. Follow the show on Twitter at WPPluginsAtoZ. John can also be reached at his website, johnoverall.com, or email him directly, john@wppro.ca. Thanks for joining us and have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the show. This show is copyright by johnoverall.com. So until next time, have yourselves a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you happen to be out there on the globe today.
Alrighty then.
So my next question is, why do we need to update PHP?
Because PHP, like any other programming language, develops well, it doesn't develop. The security flaws were there from the time the code's written.
So like 0-day flaws?
Well, they're not always 0-day flaws. There's something that's, discovered, or somebody put a comma where they should have put a colon, or, they found a bug in it. They put, humans write code. Humans are fallible. Mistakes happen. Simple as that. But you got to remember, all the hackers out there are constantly looking for even the minutest of flaw that they can then take advantage of and use it to break into websites, break into databases, break into whatever. And it has to be updated. The other thing is as we advance with our development of technology and coding and everything, we try to make everything faster, so the code changes. The way the code's written changes. It's like the evolving of language. Well, it is an evolving of language. Writing code is a language. PHP is a language. It's a very specific language. All the code languages are very specific for what they're supposed to do. I remember back in the beginning, there was only 1 or 2 languages, Basic and Cobalt, and Basic Cobalt, and I forget the others. It was like 3 or 4 basic ones way back in the beginning. But as time went on, hey, we can do it in this way. Well, to do this, we have to create a whole new set of language. I mean, HTML is a coding language. That was invented specifically to deliver information. So we're faced with that. So the reason we update is the hackers discovered a flaw. That flaw gets abused. The code writers discover it's being abused. They finally find out how the hackers are abusing it, and they go in and patch that. That's why we have to update. And then what happens, it's like they say, in November, PHP 7 is no longer going to be supported, meaning they're not going to write any patches for any newly discovered flaws in it. So you have to move to 8, because what will happen is over time, more and more flaws will get discovered by hackers, because there's always flaws in the system. And they'll be abused, but no one's going to patch them anymore. They're just going to be abused. Like anyone who's using PHP 5.6 out there. PHP 5.6 is so riddled with holes now that if you're still using it, the moment you go online, they've got bots out there searching for websites that are using PHP 6. And as soon as they find one, they throw all of their ammunition at it until they can hack into it.
Okay.
That's why we got it up there.
Before I move on to my next question, Henrian said My primary website is on a Windows server, so I have to host my WP sites on a different host.
Yep. Yep, you need a host. You need a host that supports PHP. I mean, Windows servers do host PHP. I used to way back in the day when I first. I was about 10 years or so ago. I used to manage Windows servers, and I finally gave it up because running PHP, which Windows servers will run, but to run PHP on a Windows server is so much incredible work. It's just not worth the headache.
How come?
Because you got to do all sorts of customizations to it. It doesn't make the calls the same way it does in Linux. Linux-based servers are more intuitive than Windows server. Windows servers are not intuitive at all. I ran an entire Windows network one time, and I used to spend half my time just keeping the network from crashing.
Wow.
Windows servers are not an enjoyable thing. So yeah, if you want to run something that uses PHP, it's got to be done on a Linux-based server. Just for the sanity of the fucking dude's name Ben.
My last question is, do you think something will crop up to replace PHP?
Maybe. I mean, PHP didn't come out of nowhere, but PHP, I was there in the beginning of PHP as it evolved. But PHP came out to help deal with the crappy security holes of JavaScript, I believe. JavaScript is browser side scripting, and it's really easy to flaw it and hack it and take advantage of it. It's easier, not as easy now. In the beginning, it was real easy. It was real easy to throw stuff into people's systems. Who knows? Somebody may invent a new language to replace PHP. The problem is would it take off? Because so much of the internet is now dependent upon PHP. I mean, not just WordPress. Almost all CMS systems out there are based on PHP.
Yeah, that is true.
PHP is as core to the internet now as Linux is. Linux is the base operating system for the servers. PHP is the base operating system for the websites. Bank never updated the software OS apps that relied on the firewall. Of course, one day a virus came and exploited our day. Yes, I'm sure. Flaw had been patchable for 18 months. It was clogged for days. Oh, yeah. Yeah, as soon as you know about a flaw in the system, man, you want to patch it as soon as you possibly can. Because that flaw will be taken advantage of. Maybe not immediately. And for all you know, by the time you've discovered that flaw, that hacker may have known about that flaw for months or years and never let it out and was exclusively using it. Because that is a really common thing on hackers. You exclusively use a flaw in the system.
Yeah, keep it for themselves. Although apparently hackers are now doing wholesale offers for certain flaws and 0-day flaws, and they're selling them out. They're renting them out too, apparently.
Oh yeah,
quietly. Which I don't understand how you can rent it out, but
well, they rent out a little bit. They take money and they probably go do the work themselves.
Ah, that makes sense.
That way their secret never escapes.
Okay.
The idea is to, make money. And unfortunately, there's a lot of money to be made doing this. Hacking systems. A lot of money to be made. So much so that, of course, the criminal elements have tapped into it.
Of course. Anything good will always have the black market version.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think that is the show.
All right, well, that's it. We'll call it a wrap at that. Thanks for showing up, Hemdian. We appreciate you joining us on our new day, same time.
Absolutely. Always love to read your comments, Hemdian.
Yeah. And let's keep all your software. You want defense, in-depth firewall, antivirus software, and apply all updated. Oh yeah, constantly updating it. Everything gets updated on a regular basis, just to keep it from becoming a nightmare. The internet is a very interestingly fun place, also a dangerous place. With that, I think we will call it a wrap. Off we go. Take care now. Bye-bye.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still.
Oh, cut that off.
These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. A quarter after midnight, and I'm watching the wall. Sometimes I feel so uptight, I just can't sleep at all. Every day doing the same old thing, we're losing time. The weekend comes, we gotta have some fun and rewind. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. I feel the rope tightening, choking off our air. We need to grab some lightning. Friday's almost here. Caught in a web, we need to cut this thread we're hanging by. Where is it said you have to be half dead to survive? These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder. We're gonna make time stand still. We gotta feel the hunger, hanging over the edge just to taste the thrill. These are the days of thunder.
Alrighty, that's all we got for you now. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Adios, mofo.